What a load of garbage. 3.5 million tonnes, and it's growing. That's because Aussies chuck out more stuff than just about anyone else in the whole world. We each put in about 1 tonne per year. But what I'm going to do is show you how you can save room, save the planet, and save some coin. You might be great at recycling your glass. You might be an absolute legend at recycling paper. But how good are you at recycling your rubbish? On the compost heap, that is. Having one of these babies will slash your weekly donation to landfill sites. And whether you've got a big backyard or just a lonely pot plant, you'll never need to buy fertiliser again. Here at the Ceres Community Farm in Brunswick East, Justin's been teaching people how to make their own compost for years.
To make great compost, we need to make a great compost heap. It can be as simple as using recycled materials like we have here. We've got some recycled pellets and some old wire that we just place into the bottom.
Can you chuck anything on a compost heap?
No, not anything. Definitely not any meat products or bones, plastics and or chemicals. Definitely not into a compost heap. But lots of organic matter, so you can recycle your newspapers, no waxed papers, kitchen scraps, lawn clippings, anything that's lived once before can go in.
Are you using compost heaps or worm farms or anything like that?
Yes, a compost heap, yes.
I'm guessing you'd be doing composting and stuff like that then?
Yes, we do compost.
So here are the ingredients. What's the recipe?
Ah, beauty. Making compost is just like making a lasagna. We're just alternating wet and dry layers. We've got some pea straw here and some newspaper that's going to be our dry layer. You could just as easily use dry leaves that are lying around the garden. Get them in there first layer.
I'll grab the paper for you.
Just on that note, with newspaper, always better to scrumple it up a little bit. Just adds more air into the compost pile. And with more oxygen, that means that the mini beasts that are in that pile can live and be as happy as Larry.
So the more air that your compost pile gets, the better compost you make?
Exactly.
All right, cool.
Ah, beauty. There's our first dry layer. So the next layer to come in is our wet layer, which can be things like food scraps. So I've got some grass clippings here as well. Now, the idea with this is that they've got enough moisture to feel like a damp sponge, not a dripping sponge. So if you've got too much moisture in your compost heap, that's when you'll start getting the nasty odours. Beauty. Well done. Like I said earlier, it's really important to get lots of oxygen into your compost pile. One school of thought for many years was turning your compost heap. I don't like doing that. An easy way of doing it is just using something like this slotted agricultural pipe. It acts as a chimney. By slotting it down into the middle of the compost, it draws oxygen all the way through the pile.
Well, I'll cover this back here so it stands up.
And now we're ready for our next dry layer.
A light water will stop the top layer from blowing away. So, how long is this going to take to make compost?
In a couple of weeks, it'll still be a little bit manky. The little micro beasts that are in there won't be as active. In about 6 to 8 weeks, once they've built up their numbers and done all their work, this will be a beautiful pile of organic compost ready to put onto the garden.
I'm all for this composting business. It makes sense. You're going to help your hip pocket, you're going to help your garden, and of course you're going to help save the planet. If you just put your kitchen scraps into a compost bin or a compost heap like this one, it's going to release 3 to 4 times less gases than what it would if you put it in landfill.
Can something like a worm farm help with composting and stuff like that?
Yeah, ours is just kind of a natural compost bin, but if you were in a suburban backyard, a worm farm, it'd be great.
If composting sounds like too much hard work for you, you can get these guys to do the hard slog for you. Now, a worm farm must really be a lazy gardener's best friend.
Oh, absolutely. It doesn't get any easier than this. The worms do all the work for us. All we really need to do is get the worms into the bottom of the worm farm, let them settle for a few days, let them find their feet and get comfortable, and then we can start adding our kitchen scraps and continue with our lasagna effect. Don't be tempted to nick earthworms out of the garden. They're two totally different creatures. These guys are called red wrigglers and tiger worms. They're specific compost worms.
Red wrigglers and tiger worms. What's so special about these guys?
Well, compost worms eat 24/7 and they can get up to 3 times their own body weight every single day.
Okay, well, let's get these ones started.
Let's put them in.
They eat your scraps and in return produce manure that makes a fine compost that's chock full of nutrients for your plants.